Hi there, this is Sarah from Paper Lovely. Thanks for joining me today. I'm going to be working with the Simon Says Stamp March 2017 card kit. So jumping right into card number 1, I'm using the Lawn Fawn Stitch Hillside border to cut out a hill from some green cardstock. And this is going to go along the bottom of a gatefold card. So I'm going to line that up and trace the curve of my hill so I can cut away that excess. And then once I'm happy with the placement, I'm going to use my ATG gun to attach that to the bottom fold there. And I'm just going to trim off that bit that's hanging off the end there. So I decided to use the bunny for the first card. I think he's absolutely adorable. And I'm using Simon Says Stamp Intense Black ink onto Bristol Smooth cardstock. I'll be using my Zig Clean Color Real Brush markers, and the 3 colors that I'm using are listed below. Once I'm done coloring, I'm going to fussy cut the image out, and I'm using the Tim Holtz Tonic scissors. These are really great for cutting through cardstock. The edges of the blades are almost serrated, and it really gives you a nice, clean, smooth cut. One quick tip I would share is that when you are cutting things out, you want to try and move the paper, not the scissors. This is going to help you get a much smoother edge. I've cut a piece of the carrot background paper down to the size of 5 by 2 3/4 inches, and this is going to fit that top fold of the card perfectly, leaving just a little border around the top and each side. And I'm going to also attach the bunny to the top portion of the fold of the card. Next, I'm going to stamp on the sentiment, some bunny wants to say hello. Once I finished stamping there, I realized that you could still see some of the inside of the card from behind the bunny. So I ended up using the leftover from the hillside that I had previously cut out, and I flipped that around and was able to use it as a second hill. So here I am removing the bunny. I was very lucky to be able to do that. If I had waited too much longer, I'm not sure he would have come off quite as easily. And I'm just rubbing off a little bit of that excess glue tape. So now I'm measuring where I want to trim this hillside. And now that I've got that to the size that I want, I'm going to glue it to the top fold of my card. Now I'm also going to attach the bunny to the top portion of this card. but I'm going to be careful to let just a smidge of him hang over the edge of the bottom portion of the card, and that's going to help keep it closed. You'll see that a little better in the close-up. For my second card, I'm using the Lawn Fawn stitched rectangle dies, and out of the pretty yellow paper, I'm cutting a size 5 by 3 3/4, and then out of Bristol Smooth cardstock, I'm cutting size 4 by 2 3/4. Onto the Bristol Smooth cardstock, I'm going to stamp this little chickadee as well as the sentiment, "Hey Chickie." And then I'm also going to stamp the little glasses that came in the card kit. I think those are adorable, and I'm really hoping I'll be able to use them with some of the other critters that I have in other stamp sets. So again, I'm using my Zig Clean Color Real Brush markers, and the 4 colors that I'm using are listed below. I'm now adding some lime green baker's twine from Recollections, and I'm just wrapping that around 3 times, and then I will tie that into a bow. I always have trouble with these teeny tiny bows. I tend to do much better if I actually turn my card upside down. So there must be something about the way I twist my loops, but that's the only way I can get it looking the proper way. I'm just going to trim off the ends there. And I'm going to attach my background square to the top of the card, and then center this on the front. I'm going to use my glossy accents to give those glasses some lenses. I love to do this whether I've got a light bulb or glasses or goggles, anything like that. I just think it gives a little fun extra to the card. And then finally, I'm going to add some sequins. This is the Tailored Expressions Snow Flurries mix. I use this all year round. It's got a good mix of sizes, and some are flat, some are cupped. And I'm using multi-matte medium and my quick stick tool there to place those down. And there's a close-up of card number 2. For my third card, I'm going to use that same 5 by 3 3/4 Lawn Fawn stitched rectangle die to cut out from this blue background paper, and also the Lawn Fawn grass border die. And I've staggered that a bit so I'll be able to get 2 layers out of that one cut. And then this is the Lawn Fawn puffy cloud border die. So I'm going to stack those 2 layers of grass there, doing them slightly off kilter so that they're not a mirror image of one another. And I'm going to use my ATG gun to attach that to the bottom of my blue background there. And then I will trim off the excess, and I'll do the same with that puffy cloud border that I created. Now that I've got my scene set, I'm going to go ahead and take that to my Misty, and I'm going to stamp the sentiment, "Some bunny loves you to pieces." I'm going to stamp, color, and fussy cut my bunny exactly the same way that I did for card number 1. And then I'm going to attach my scene to the center of this yellow cardstock. I thought yellow was a really good idea because it gives the illusion of sunshine without an actual sun in the scene there. And I'll find a position I like for my bunny, and then I'm going to just slide him in between the two layers of grass there. And then I'll do it for card number 3. For card number 4, I decided I wanted to do a circle card, and I apologize I lost a little bit of the footage here, but I'm using the Sizzix nested circle die set, and what I did is I used the largest circle possible that I could get out of an A2 size card base, and what that ended up making for me was about a almost 3 3/4 inch circle. So I cut 2 of those out of the gray cardstock, and then I also cut a slightly smaller circle out of the blue background and a slightly smaller circle out of Bristol Smooth cardstock. I'm using my stamps here. I created a few masks to be able to do the stacked eggs there, and then I'm adding that little chickadee on top. I'm using, again, my Zig Clean Color Real Brush markers to color that in, and I've added a few new colors for the eggs. So again, all of those are listed on the bottom of the screen for you. Next, I'm using a strip of the remaining gray cardstock that I had cut the circles out of, and I'm just going to trim that down, and I'm using Versamark ink to stamp the sentiment, "I think you're a good egg." And I had originally left just one banner edge there, but after I layered my card together, I decided that rather than coming off from the side with the sentiment, it would look better in the middle. So I'm popping that up on some foam tape there and then playing with my layout. So I decided to alter that banner edge slightly and then add another one on the opposite side. So I'm just backing the front of my card with some foam tape. I apologize, I zoomed in and totally missed the mark there. I'm going to peel that foam tape off, and I'm going to attach my scene to the top of my card. There we go. And then I'll attach the sentiment on top of the scene. I'm going to use my score table there to score just about 1/4 of an inch down from the top of the egg. I'm going to fold that back, and then I'm going to use some strong adhesive. I've got score tape here to place that across where the fold was. I'm going to trim that down. And then attach the front of my card. Card number 4. For card number 5, I'm again using those Lawn Fawn stitched rectangle dies in the 5 by 3 3/4 and 4 by 2 3/4 sizes. And onto my Bristol cardstock, I'm going to stamp Somebody Thinks You're Amazing. I've also stamped, colored, and fussy cut out that same bunny again, and I used 042 turquoise green of the Zig markers for his glasses. I've attached my background panel, and now I'm attaching my center panel, just slightly off kilter there so I can have the bunny sort of halfway on, halfway off of that. I'm popping up the bunny for a little bit of dimension. I'm using some Scotch foam tape there. I decided I wanted to use some of the heart stamps that came in the kit, so I am just adding those with Lawn Fawn Wild Rose ink. I'm also going to add a few crystals there, and I'm using the Pretty Pink Posh 3mm size and just attaching those with my multi-matte medium. And then of course I'm going to use some glossy accents on his glasses. And that will finish card number 5. For card number 6, I've used that Lawn Fawn stitch rectangle die to cut out a 5 by 3 3/4 rectangle out of the Easter egg background paper. I'm next going to line that up with my orange card base, and I will cut out a 3-inch circle from both that egg background as well as just the top of my card base. And then I'm also going to cut 2 of the 2-inch circles out of the Bristol Smooth cardstock. On top of those, I will stamp that little chickadee, and I'm going to color him the exact same colors as the previous chick. And here I'm just adding some Wink of Stella all over those. I'm going to finish those up and add a little bit of extra dimension by using my Nuvo drops on the cheeks, and the color that I'm using is called Bubblegum Bliss. I'm just finishing up adding a double layer of foam tape on my background here. I'm cutting a strip from one of the blue papers in the card kit, and on that I'm going to stamp Happy Easter. Trim that down so it's ready to go. I've run my chickadees through my sticker maker. This is really great to use when you're making a spinner card because that way you're coating the entire back of your elements. And I've cut a length of fishing line there that I'm going to sandwich between the two of them. And now that we have that created, I'm going to peel off the sides of my tape, and then just about a little over half of a portion of the top and the bottom, so that I can place the fishing line there, get it nice and tight, and then I'll use those papers to really make sure that that's pushed into the foam tape properly. As I trim that fishing line, I like to pull it off to the side and catch a little bit more of it on that foam tape, just to be extra sure that it's secure. So I'm gonna go ahead and line that up with the front of my card, and then I'll peel off the remainder of the backing tape. I'm gonna attach my Happy Easter sentiment at the top. And then here I will show you how this spins when you open it. And these are so great to give to kids. I'm pretty sure I will mail this to one of my nieces or nephews. And that is card number 6 completed. For card number 7, I apologize, I'm missing a bit of footage, but what I did was cut a rectangle from the orange background paper that came with the kit, and then I also trimmed out this file folder edge that was off of a separate piece of paper that came in the kit, and I just created a background putting the two together. And then here you can see I have cut another rectangle out of Bristol cardstock, and this measures 3.5 by 4 3/4 inches, and on that I am using my eggs to stamp another pile. Again, I've created some masks in order to stack these on top of one another, and I've used all of the same colors as I previously used to color that background in. I've used the Lawn Fawn grass border to cut out of this green polka dot paper a line of grass that I'm going to place at the bottom. And then I am backing that whole panel with foam tape to pop it up off the card slightly. I'm going to peel those layers back and attach it to the front of my card. And then I decided to add my sentiment on the inside of the card this time. So I'm just stamping Happy Easter there. Adding a little bit of Wink of Stella to a few of the eggs, as well as the cheeks on the chickadee. And that completes card number 7. So for card number 8, I decided it was time to play around with that Nouveau mousse that came in the kit, and I'm using the aquamarine color. I've just taped my egg stencil down to the front of a white card base, and I really like this mousse. This was my first time using it. I'm applying it thick because I want to try and hopefully get a nice dimension on the card front. But as you can see, it's very smooth. It was very easy to scrape up the excess, which I love to do to save as much as I can on materials. And then as I'm peeling this tape away, I'm gonna go ahead after I remove the stencil and I will lift this up as close to the camera as I can get it to kind of show you the dimension that I got. I'm really pleased how raised it is off the surface. a good idea there of just the type of texture I was able to create with that stencil. Now I'm trimming down a piece of blue background paper, and I'm going to stamp Happy Easter. And I'm going to trim that down and create a fishtail edge. And here I'm going to use some foam tape to pop that up and create a little extra dimension. And that is card number 8. For card number 9, I have decided to use this egg stencil again. I taped that down onto a panel that measures 4 by 5 1/4, and I'm just making a rainbow egg using Lawn Fawn ink along with the blender tool. The colors I'm using are Wild Rose, Fake Tan, Fresh Cut Grass, Mermaid, and Juice Box. And then once I've got the blending completed, I'm going to cover that with Faber-Castell Glass Bead Glitter Gel. And this is a lot of fun to use. It's one of my favorite products. It goes on with this sort of white goopy look, but by the time it dries, it is beautiful crystal. It really does look like there's glass beads sitting all over the top of your project. So I'm going to try to catch the light here so you can see just how glittery it is when it's finished, and then also the nice dimension that you get when you use it. I'm going to use my ATG gun to attach this to the top of my gray card. And then I will use a strip of gray cardstock to create my sentiment, which I'm going to stamp Happy Easter with Hero Arts Unicorn ink. I popped that sentiment up on foam tape, and that completes card 9. For card number 10, I'm again using my Lawn Fawn Stitch Rectangle dies, size 5 by 3 3/4 to cut out the plaid background, and 4 by 2 3/4 to cut out the Bristol Smooth cardstock. I am going to stamp my bunny along with the sentiment, "Some bunny loves you to pieces." And then I will color my bunny with the same colors that I've used on the previous cards. I've attached my plaid panel to the front of my yellow cardstock, and I'm adding the bunny panel to the center there. I've used a little bit of Wing of Stella on the pink parts of the bunny, as well as my Signo White gel pen to add 3 dots to his cheeks. And that completes card number 10. So here's a quick look back at all 10 cards we've made today. And now let's look and see what I've got left in my card kit. As you can see, I've got all of the mousse, the blending tool, the spatula, several scraps, as well as 4 full sheets of paper, the envelope, and the stamp set. So I've got quite a bit left that I could make a few more cards. So I hope you enjoyed the video today. Thanks again for stopping by. Please leave any questions or comments you have below. Stop by my blog for still shots as well as additional information, and I will see you in the next video.